Welcome back to my Hoodoo Storytime Part 3, Slick. Let's get right on into it. Okay, y'all, so when we left off, Sabrina told Slick that she was going to go down south with him to help him figure out what happened to his gifts and to help him solve the problem. So, in the meantime, they both decided to tie up some loose ends before they left town. Sabrina went back to campus. She completed all of her exams and she actually turned down the internship that she was supposed to take for the summer. She didn't tell her family any of this. She had them thinking that she was still going to be on campus and not knowing that she was going to be going down south. She told her roommate Brittany about it, and Brittany was like, "Girl, are you serious? You don't even know him that well, and you're just gonna up and go out of town with him?" And Sabrina was like, "Yes, I just really want to help him. He's going through some things, and I feel like I can really help him. And I felt like it was fate that we met each other." Brittany was like, "Girl, you haven't even slept with him yet, and you really going out of town with him?" She was like, "I know. That's why I know it's real." She was like, "It's just a curiosity that I have towards him, but there hasn't been nothing sexual between us. I just feel like this is the right thing for me to do. I'm drawn to him, and I feel like I really need to help him." So meanwhile, Slick was tying up his loose ends on his side. He had passed everything over to his homeboy Shine. He was going to let Shine run the operation while he was gone and decided whether he was going to come back or not. He really was trying to give it up, so he basically was letting Shine take over. He puts most of his money into a bank account. He did take a bag full of cash with him, but he was basically just setting up his money and making sure that everything was secure on that end. After he did that, he called Sabrina and he was on his way. He picked her up and they hit the highway, y'all. The whole ride, like as they're going down, because it's a good 7 to 8 hour drive that they're taking, okay? So on the ride down, it's like they're laughing, they're talking, they're joking. It's a real light mood, and they're optimistic. They're hoping that they can solve this problem, get everything in line with their life, and they're actually happy for a moment. So as they're traveling down these country highways, they see a carnival. So Brittany is like a kid. She's like, "Can we stop? Can we stop, please?" So they end up stopping at the carnival. They had some food. They both figured out that their favorite fair or carnival food was funnel cakes. So they ordered some funnel cakes and they are just like grubbing, y'all. And in a moment, they both look at each other and they say, "Good to the last drop." So both of them are shocked because that's a little line that they always use when food is really good. And neither one of them knew that. So that's another thing that they found out they had in common. So as they were about to leave the carnival, Sabrina spots a tarot card reader. So she asks Slick, "Is it okay if they go over?" So they go over and it's a lady and she pulls some cards for them, y'all. So the first card she pulls is the Two of Cups. And that's when she tells them that they both have to work together to solve a problem. Then she pulls the Devil card. She says that there is something that is binding both of them and holding them back from their fullest potential. The next card she pulled was the Death card. And that scared Sabrina real bad. She explained to them that both of them would be going through some type of rebirth where the old self would die and a new self would reemerge. She then pulled the Six of Cups. She said, "You guys have a past connection." So they both look at each other like, "Wow, really?" Then she pulled the High Priestess. She said that you both have the knowledge to solve the issue. Then she pulled the World. She said that you guys have a cycle that you have to close out. So with that, they both were like, "Wow," and their minds started racing, the wheels started turning, and they knew that this reading had something to do with the problem that they were having. Sabrina then in turn paid the tarot reader, and as they were walking away, the tarot reader said, "Sir," and that's when Slick looked back, and she pulled the Magician. She said, "You are the magician. Use your magic to solve your problem." And in Slick mind, he wanted to say, "I lost my magic. But he just smiled and said thank you. And it was like the tarot reader could read his mind because she said, you haven't lost it. It's within you. You just have to find it. And with that, they both walked away. They got in the car and they continued on their trip because they wanted to get down before it got dark. So they had a couple of more hours to go, and Sabrina fell into a deep sleep, while Slick was driving and vibing. So while she's dreaming, y'all, she dreams again that she's at this park with Slick and that something is chasing them. But this time she can actually see what's chasing them. She can see the person's face. It's an older looking man dressed in all black with a funny looking hat. It's kind of like a top hat, but it wasn't tall, but it had a top on it. So while she's over here dreaming and Slick is riding and vibing, he comes to a crossroad, y'all. When he approaches the crossroad, he sees the same man from the restaurant. And this time, he slows down, he winds the window down, and he says, "Man, you following me or something?" The old man looks at Slick, gives him a sinister smile, and walks away. He does not answer him, which was very mysterious and very creepy. Okay, at this point, Slick continues to drive. Sabrina wakes up and she looks and sees the man walking in the distance. She looks back. That's when she tells Slick, she was like, "Have you ever seen that man before?" And Slick was like, "Yeah, I don't know who he is." That's when Sabrina was like, "I dreamt about him." Slick was like, "What do you mean you dreamt about him?" She was like, "Yeah, ever since I met you, ever since the car accident, I've been having creepy ass dreams about somebody chasing us in a park." And she was like, and that person looked just like that man. So, of course, this kind of creeped the vibe out. So for the rest of the trip, everybody was just quiet in the car and everybody was thinking, trying to figure out what the hell was going on. So after a few more hours, they finally made it to South Carolina. They made it to Grandma Belle and Granddaddy Fox's house. Down that long dirt road, that long winding dirt road, to a beautiful house. Slick actually had this house built for them a few years back. It was a surprise because he knew if he told them, they would have never accepted it. So he was happy to see his grandparents doing well, living well. They got out. They greeted him with hugs and kisses. He introduced Sabrina to them, and immediately Grandma Belle said, "Now I like her." So they went in. Grandma Belle made them sit down. She cut them a slice of her famous sweet potato pie, and she made them some sweet tea, and they began to talk. And that's when Slick started to tell her that he was having some problems and that his gift was gone. Grandma Belle, of course, she had to give him a speech about some of the things that he was doing. She wasn't 100% sure if he was selling rugs, but she knew that whatever he was doing, it was fast money, and sometimes fast money brings fast problems. So she kept talking to him and telling him, it was time for him to put those things away and man up and live right. She grabbed his hand and Sabrina's hand, and she said, "Y'all got a strong bond." They both look at each other because they know that they only been knowing each other for a few days. That's when Grandma Belle says, "I know y'all ain't been knowing each other long, but y'all got a strong bond. Y'all knew each other before in another lifetime." The room gets quiet, and Grandma Belle says, "Yes, y'all knew each other in another lifetime. And we gonna figure out what that got to do with you and your gift." Come back for part 4, y'all. It's about to start smoking. Peace.